Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Apologetically Me. I'm Maggie,
I'm Wanda.
and we're here with an episode about relationships. This will be a two-part series. We're going to be talking about before the relationship, what Wanda and I are like single, what it's like to date around as two female cool ladies in the 21st century, and more. But before we get started, Wanda, tell the people what you got going on.
So the day that we're filming this, which is Thursday, July 15th, is the day that Never Have I Ever season 2 comes out. I've started watching it already. It's quite good. I know Maggie's not quite a fan of the show, but I support everything that Mindy Kaling does. So, when it comes push comes to shove, Mindy Kaling, it's me that you should save in the apocalypse.
Listen, I love her. I would die for her, but this show is not it. It's so cringy.
It is, but it's like it's like very realistic. Like I think it's like they kind of abolish all like they play on the tropes, but they abolish all of the tropes as well. I think they like you have to really understand. Like you have to be a teenager. Like you this show is about like a 15-year-old or like a 16-year-old. I don't know how old she is, but she's young. You got to think back to when you were young. What were you like? You were probably not that great either.
I was not great, but like I wasn't like that embarrassing.
Weren't you though?
How dare you? I think I was kind of cool. Okay, not cool, but like I feel like I wasn't like that, unbearable. Did I
Fair.
always ditch boys for my friends? I mean, friends for my boys?
No, the
Wait.
first one. I think it's just, yeah, like I do definitely think that it's played up a little bit because yes, it is TV, but I think it also she is an aggressive, like she's very hot-headed, but I think they like specifically made her that way. And that does get a little bit cringy and it does get a little bit annoying, especially because you're like, why would you treat people this badly? And like why do you think the world revolves around you? But and then there's like other parts and it's like it's so emotional and you cry and everything. I don't know. You don't have to like it. I do really love it. I do highly recommend it if you're just looking for I don't want to say feel good because I did cry a few times because of the show, but a good Mindy Kaling comedy where one of the main guys is pretty attractive and it's really funny because a lot of the comments on it like on YouTube are like teenage girls being like, "Oh, I was so upset when I found out the person who plays Paxton Yoshida Hall is actually Hall Yoshida, I don't know, is actually 30 years old in real life." And they're like,
He's
"Now
30?
he's 30, yeah."
Ooh.
Yeah, and he plays like a high schooler. So all these girls are like super disappointed that they're like, "Oh, he's too old for me now." I'm like, "Yes, that was the thing that was stopping you. Age." I mean, it's kind of weird because like the actor who plays her is like 17 or like 18
Mm,
now. So he's like a lot older than her.
yeah, kind of weird.
Yeah. Acting. What's your update?
I have a sad update. I've been having a rough week. It's been emotional for me. I struggle, as our listeners know, with hormonal acne, and it comes and goes, but lately it's been very bad, and my dermatologist likes to joke with me. And sometimes I wonder about it. He asked if I was adopted, as we remember in a previous episode. Well, no, because he was like, "Oh, it's like genetic because there's like nothing we can do about it. Like you're past the age of 25. Like because it's only on your chin. That means like it's nothing with your eating either. So we don't know what it could be. It could be genetic. It could just be a bunch of hormones. Like we don't know. Let's try a bunch of things. And nothing has been working. And I feel like the ugliest person alive. But this is a note to future Maggie because now I'm done being sad that it's okay. Acne comes and goes. Still struggling with self-acceptance of this. But I think it's silly to be sad about it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
We know you're not adopted because like Jordan says you look like your brother. So
That's really mean.
Um, the other thing is like, is it like after 25? Like, do I, because like I still get acne occasionally. So it's like at the age of 25, if I still get it, does that mean something's like,
I don't know. I was just reading about this afterwards, but he was just like, "Oh, weird. You're on birth control and you're taking these other medications and nothing seems to be working. And you're past 25. Very interesting." Now I'm like, "Oh God." Now I'm an adult with acne. Maybe like people don't talk about it enough. We don't talk about acne enough as adults.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like, oh, this will disappear when you're an adult.
And it doesn't. And it makes me sad.
Makes me sad too. I was under the impression by the time that I turned 20, all of my acne will just simply wash away and my skin would be flawless and clear all the time after that.
I want my money back. Anyway, that's my sad update, but I think there is hope in the future. I am optimistic. I'm sad right now, but I'm optimistic.
Yeah. I read this thing that is like if you constantly think negative thoughts and you put negative thoughts out into the universe, then you will only get negative like things will happen to you confirming this. But if you put out positive thoughts, then it's like you will get positive things from the universe. And I'm like, this feels like bullshit, but apparently it's actually real.
Like I understand it, like I get where it's coming from, like to always be optimistic, but it's like shut up. Stop with this manifestation nonsense.
I now I think I say like, oh, it can't get any worse than this as my positive affirmation.
Okay, what's your beef or crush of the week?
My beef of the week is myself. Um, I don't know why I did this, but I decided to last minute agree to take on writing a grant for my professor so that a portion of the grant can be allocated to me. It's like a little bit more than $10,000 a year if like we do get the grant, but it's like it's due on July 26th. So today is July 15th. I have 11 days to not only write it, get it edited by my professor, and then get it reviewed by another faculty member. This is a lot for 11 days. Like, it doesn't, like, it's technically it's not a lot. So it's only a 5-page proposal plus a 2-page budget plus like a 2-page references. So it doesn't seem like a lot and it feels doable. But as I'm writing it today, I'm like, holy crap, Wanda, why did you do this to yourself? Why did you put yourself under such a strict timeline to do this thing? Because I think it kind of started as like I was just curious about it and I was like, okay, let me see and then I'll decide on it. But then it got so far like into this rabbit hole, I will say, that it ended up just being, oh, so you've like accepted it. And I'm just like, I guess I have. And I have decided to write this. But as a bonus, that my professor has written down in writing that if I go to any conference, he will pay for me to have my own hotel room rather than having to share it with another student. So that is a so that is my motivation. And as Jordan puts it, my motivations are fame, fortune, and my own toilet.
That's kind of poetic. That's beautiful.
Is
Fame, fortune, and my own toilet. Put that
like
on a poster, guys. We'll have it on our next t-shirts rolling out for Apologetically Me.
yeah, that I guess that is our new tagline. I mean, realistically, if you have fame and fortune, you should have your own toilet, but I mean like
Just in case.
just in case. Anyways, I'll probably be happy I did this in the future, but as of right now, I hate myself for it. Writing's hard. Back to you.
My beef of the week is okay. We're entering stage 3 in Ontario here, starting tomorrow, so which I'm happy about. But also, restaurants are struggling and they seem to have not learned their lesson. But you know what? It's a double-edged sword. So I really like online reservations, and we seem to be struggling very hard with online reservations for a few restaurants in Toronto. Everything is booked up, and the thing we want to do is next month, and that is insane. What are people doing? Like what? Hello? And I tried to call in and they're like, sorry, we have limited seating. Like you have to come at like 5 p.m. for dinner. Like we're not old people. And a lot of places too in Toronto, when I was looking for getting brunch with my friends, it's like walk-in only, no reservation. It's like, really, did we not learn our lesson after COVID that we need to schedule things and know when we want to do things? I don't want to wait in line for no reason around a bunch of people. Do we really want to go back to COVID stage 2? No, we don't. But I understand because if they do reservations, people don't show up, they lose money, that kind of thing. But like, I love reservations. I like planning.
Yeah, I think from like I don't know though, because like reservations, I guess you could also like staff people, right? Like if you
Right.
know that you have at least this many people coming, then you know that you should staff it accordingly and you can
Yeah.
order things accordingly. So I was going to say that like from a restaurant point of view, it maybe makes sense not to have reservations, but then now I think about it, it kind of does. The shitty thing is, yeah, if you have no shows and you don't have like and you like rejected a lot of people because of these no shows, like it's you kind of like lose out on this table and on this on like money. But then, like, most restaurants who are completely booked up usually also have like a lot of people who are willing just to like wait around for a table. What I don't understand is why it's so booked up. Like, why is it that we can't even get a reservation for like any time on like in a month from now? Like, is it just because there's limited seating, or is it because there's a lot of eager people ready to get out of the house?
Yeah, what? It's not even like a special holiday or something. It's like a normal Saturday night
Mm-hmm.
and it's completely booked. And this happened last year too for your birthday.
Yeah.
So it seems like your birthday is a very popular time.
But last year we also ended up booking like a week, not even a week in advance because we
Oh,
were
we
not
forgot.
sure what to do.
Yeah.
This time we were sure, but like I didn't think that it was going to be this aggressive, I guess.
Mhm.
Um Maybe someone will drop out and then there'll be reservations because I think 7 is a odd number and it's like
Yeah.
you would need like an 8-person table and there's not a lot of like multi-people tables. So maybe that's why because I was looking at 6 people and there's a lot of reservations for 6 people.
Oh, that's interesting. That's six and not seven.
Yeah, because 7, 8, 9.
Okay. Anyway, good beef. Good beef and crushes.
No crushes.
No crushes. Wow, we've been in crushes in a while. So we're gonna be talking about relationships. Um, we're gonna be talking about before the relationship specifically, when to get there. Um, and Wanda, how long have you been in a relationship for?
What month is it? It is July, so just over 2 years.
Nice. So you were a veteran.
I don't know if that is true. Like we know people who've been together for like 5+ years.
Do you think the number of years or months or whatever, do you think the time counts in a relationship of what makes you a veteran or not?
I think this is hard.
Right? It's tricky because like I know a couple who have been together for 5 years, but they have so many communication problems, and then it just like ended horribly.
I mean, yeah, like take for example, like just because the length of time doesn't mean how like good it is. I think it's really about like because someone could have an equally strong relationship 1 year in as someone who has been together for like 8 years or something. Like it really depends on the two people, how open their communication is, how comfortable they are around each other. But I do think like the difference between like one to the first like maybe like 6 months from and then from 6 months to a year, I think there are like maybe differences because I think you do try to put your best foot forward in the beginning of the relationship so you don't fart around each other, you don't like you're not as gross, I guess, within like the first couple of months. Maybe not, maybe you are immediately farters and you just fart all the time in front of each other, go you. But it takes me a while. That's my comfort zone. Like if I can fart in front of you, that's like when we've reached like pretty much like maximum comfort.
Whoa. That's interesting. Actually, there was a TikTok about this. There's this TikTok influencer. Like she gives a lot of relationship advice.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like in her previous relationships, she could never sleep comfortably at night with any of her exes. But now with her current boyfriend, she just like lets it all out and she sleeps so comfortably with him. And it's because she's able to fart in front of him.
Yeah, I think that's like the sign of a healthy relationship, being able to fart in front of each other and like as quickly as possible, like as quickly as comfortably as you can. After that point, I think you get a lot stronger.
Yeah. And you should be doing it in the first couple months.
Yes, I think so
Ooh.
because like holding farts suck. Like especially if you're gonna
Yeah.
spend a lot of time with them, like what are you gonna do? Like go outside and fart?
Yeah, I guess that is true. Yeah, I get so uncomfortably bloated.
Yes. Ooh, that was really loud. I'm sorry.
Do
But I know the
you
feeling.
wait for the guy to go or you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna let it all out.
Um, my past experience is usually the guy that goes first. For Jordan, I'm pretty sure it was like within like a few days or like within like 2 weeks. Like he, he was just like, I'm a very gassy individual. I'm like, yeah. And then I think it took me a bit longer. I think it was like maybe 3 or 4 weeks, like on almost like a month. What about you? What was the original question? That
I don't remember. Oh, wait, it was how long have you been in a relationship for? And do you think time matters in a relationship?
okay, okay, so how long have you been? Do you think time matters? And do you what do you think about the farting rule?
I have been in a relationship with Nicholas, our episode 10 podcast
Oh
guest,
yeah.
for 3 months now.
Time
Yeah,
flies.
a little over 3 months. Yeah, that time does fly. We hadn't even met in person at the time of that episode. That was funny. Wanda pressured me into inviting him, and I was like, I don't want to do this. I kind of like this guy. This is kind of weird. And I was like quiet, and I was like off my game that episode. But
And
now it's
now
all
we
good.
know why.
Yeah, because I was crushing on him. Um, that was fun. It was like having your mom supervise a date. That's what it felt like.
How dare you? He
Yeah.
thinks I'm cool.
Yeah, so we've been together for 3 months now. Wild. Yeah, I feel like it's been a long time, like longer than 3 months. Second question was, what was it? Do you think time matters?
Yeah.
Um, well, I can't pretend that I'm a relationship expert after only being in a relationship for 3 months. I think that's silly of me to assume that because like we're still relatively new, I think. Like we're still just starting out. But I feel like you can never be too young to have good habits. Because I think we have pretty good habits. Like right now, I think we have a healthy relationship to some sort of degree, for the most part. I am very. This is also my first adult relationship, so this is all very new to me. But I think we're in a good approach. Um, we do not fart in front of each other.
I think you should talk about it.
Well, it's kind of weird, but I am like because we spend so much time together, and by the end of the night, I'm like, oh my god, I need to go home. Or like when we sleep, and I'm like, I'm so uncomfortable right now. I cannot sleep. I need to go home.
Now think about it if you were to spend a vacation together.
So long. I will be so backed up. That's kind of funny.
I'm surprised that you guys haven't had this conversation yet. I think it was like I always thought that it was like very well known, but maybe like me and this TikTok person are the only people who preach it.
I feel like it's a good thing because Gabby was talking about it with me too the other day. But she was talking with her friend and she was like, yeah, I don't even care. Like, I think it's like really good if you fart in front of me. I think it's a sign we're super comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, Gabby, you're one of my best friends. I have never farted in front of you.
I don't think I would ever flirt in front of friends. I have like I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever get that comfortable.
But you can be comfortable with a boyfriend, but not me.
Yeah, but it's like we don't spend like weeks on end together.
Yes.
And it's like I want to maintain my dainty ladylike status in front of you.
Okay, fair.
But
Maybe
like
that's what it is. I want to maintain my dainty status, my dainty female like reputation to my boyfriend.
yeah. But I mean, I think it's like if anything, like that would be the one person where you should be not maintaining that, if that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
realistically, we should fart in front of each other, like me and you,
I mean, we should, but we don't really spend like
that much time.
24/7
Yeah.
together. So I'd be like, Wanda, can you not hold it for 1 hour?
No, I'm gonna save them all for you. I'm gonna save them up, go to your house, and let it all rip.
Like, we're in public, Wanda, please.
I
That'd be kind of funny.
think that's hilarious.
So what did you think you were like when you were single? Like, do you think you were always on the prowl?
I mean, yeah, well, like it's been a while, so it's like I back in the day I was because like again, we've talked about this before where it's like I put my self-worth on like other people and rather than myself, so it was always like I needed external validation, external
Mhm.
compliments and everything. So you could say I was always on the prowl, but I wasn't necessarily like looking for like a relationship. I was very happy
Mhm.
being single. I always thought I was going to stay single my entire life because that's how I just felt in high school. And I don't know why I developed the mentality. Maybe it was chick flicks and rom-coms that gave me an unrealistic expectation.
I remember this. I remember at one point you were like, "Oh, high school me would be so disappointed in me right now."
Mhm.
And I was like, "Why? You seem happy." But you were like, "Oh, long-term relationships. High
Yeah.
school me is disappointed right now."
Yeah. That was not the dream. See, that's the thing though, because it's like when you look back at it, I know teenage me would be unhappy because of that, but it's like teenage me is not making all the decisions for 20-year-old me. So I am happy now. So that's good. But yeah, if I were to be, I guess, like single again, I don't think I would not be that crazy. I don't think I would do anything differently than I do now. Maybe I'd hang out with my friends more.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think like me I've been single for so long in my life. Like I think I was known as like the perpetually single one in our
Yeah.
friend. And I was like totally okay with that too. Like I had no issues with it. And like I think because I struggle so much with like self-esteem and everything, I was like, I really want to make sure that I like me first.
Hmm.
And I feel like it's irresponsible of me to be in a relationship when I don't even know what I want yet, when I don't even know what my feelings are. But I feel like now that I'm in a relationship, like I have to be super aware of myself. Like only I'm allowed to hate myself. No one else is, you know? Like no one else can put me down. I have to make sure of that only I'm the only one allowed. But when I was single, I feel like I hated myself like a lot more.
Do you think you would go back to that?
I mean, I don't mind. I think when I look back, no, it's only 3 months ago. I feel like I was still like kind of happy. Like I would kept a busy life. I did see my friends like all the time. I had hobbies. I had so much time to do stuff. I worked out all the time. I was so healthy. I am falling apart now.
Yeah, I definitely missed like that part of like I guess like how healthy you were because you had like really good habits and you would go to sleep
Mhm.
like all the time on time all the time. And the other thing was like you'd always be free. Like not always, but like there was like you were never like I could always message you and you were always there.
I still reply to you all the time.
Yeah, but it's like sometimes I know that you're like you'd be with Nicholas because I'd be like, ah, she's not replying within seconds or minutes of me messaging her. And it's like it's weird because as long as we've known each other, you have like not seen anyone. So it's like you were always free and always available. So now it's like it's very different. It's like a shift from
It is a
like
weird shift.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel the same way for you too. Like when you were with your ex or like Jordan or something, when you were with them, I was like, oh, okay, she's not replying right now. It's okay. Take your time. Um, but I'd always like I think when I was younger, I'd always be like a little bit like salty, I guess, where I was like, oh my God, like my girlfriends are like always prioritizing their boyfriend over me. Like I never see them anymore. They're always with them. What the hell? But now I'm like, okay, I get it. No big deal. But I think I do have a good balance. Like I think I prioritize everything pretty well. Like I always see my friends. I think I see my friends like pretty consistent. I see Gabby like almost every day.
I think you need to prioritize yourself more.
I do need to prioritize myself. I put everyone above me. I haven't worked out in so long.
Well, gyms are opening tomorrow, so
They're opening. I do not want to wait in line. Do you think I changed a lot from between when I was single to now that I'm in a relationship?
like personality wise, I don't think so. I think it's just more about how you allocate your time. I think that's the only thing that's kind of changed. Um, because like before it was always like it was just like friends and yourself, but now you have like Nicholas, friends, and yourself. And then like it's like that circle, right? Like it's a three like Venn diagram circles and you can only choose or like you can only choose two. Like that like sleep, good grades, and like money or something, right? And like this is your triangle of like you can only choose two, and you've chosen Nicholas and friends. So
Maybe is this something that everyone goes through in the beginning of a relationship?
yes, beginning. Not I like personally, I think 3 months in is like a long time.
Nice, we made it.
Yeah, because it's like I said this before because like I was like, oh, like this is the beginning, it's fine, everything's so new and so exciting and stuff. Like you just want to constantly like be with this person, but then eventually you got to the point where you settle into everyday life, normacy, that yes, you still want to be with this person, but you start to also prioritize like other things too, like yourself, like sleeping and all of those things. And like if you don't, you're gonna die.
3 months in, I am dying. I am an emotional wreck.
Yeah, I think like not sleeping too, because it's like it's not like you don't. It's like, oh, you see each other like once every week, or like you see each other once every couple of months or something, where it's like very exciting and you stay up all night kind of thing. You see each other pretty consistently.
Yeah, we do. Uh, to be a young couple again.
Yeah, I know. I hate it. That's I guess it's like because we're talking about before, like before the relationship starts. I kind of like that period, but what I don't like is like the first few months of being in our new relationship. I think it's like you have to kind of like adopt to this new person. You have to like get them up to date. I guess train them on
Mm,
like your quirks and stuff, and you have to get used to like their quirks. They just don't like, I don't know, maybe like if you weren't really good friends before, for example, like there's a lot of things that it's just like it's hard. Like it's you're basically training this new person. But right before that, like that period is the best period because that period is like the flirtation period. Everything's so fun and like
mhm.
there's no like really responsibilities or anything, and then there's like the nice tension or whatever, like like that's the fun period, and then you get to the not so fun period, and then the rest of it is much better. You're in the not so fun period.
Kind of funny. I feel like, yeah, the before the relationship, like the flirtatious period, I feel like that's when I'm most stressful.
Oh, okay.
But I feel like also that's when I look my best. You know what I mean?
Because you try harder or
I
because like
try harder to look good. And I'm like I did my gua sha thing every day. My face looked so thin. I was working out every day. I ate so healthy. Like yeah, I was like super, that was like my lowest I've ever weighed in a long time, in like 3 years. And I was like, wow, go me. I'm great. Um, I mean, not that I gained like a lot of weight back, but I'm like, Maggie, come on, you're slipping. But it's okay. Self-love, whatever. Okay. Anyways, but yeah, I feel like it was super stressful because it was like, do they like me? Do they feel the same way about me? Why do I always have to make the first move? Why don't they say anything? Oh my God, am I oversharing? Like I overthink a lot. So I feel like that part is super stressful for me.
Yeah, I guess it really depends on the mentality. I think like the way that I approach it is more of like there is no commitment here. And like it could be that they like me, it could be that they don't like me kind of thing. Like I do kind of still think about that because I am also an overanalyzer and overthinker, but like at the same time, I think it's fun. Like I think it's like it's one of the funnest parts of like because everything's just so new and it's something to like just explore and you don't know what's there and you kind of just let the river flow and you like follow it down or whatever. But yes, I do agree. I do think it could be like very stressful, and I do remember being in those like bouts of like wait a second, like did their feelings change for me,
Mhm.
did I do something wrong and kind of thing. But in the beginning of like a relationship it's also like that too, like it's very
Mhm.
much like you don't really know like where your footing is.
Yeah, that is true. I think, yeah, I think I'm more hot and cold too in the very beginning stages because it's like, oh, well, fuck it. I don't think I like them that much. I'm gonna go talk to other people too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
gotta make sure I don't put all my eggs in this basket. Gotta keep talking to as many guys as I can. Um, and then it's also, oh, it was also like I'm always looking for red flags. Like, what's gonna make me run? And if they don't have any red flags, that just freaks me out even more
Why?
because I'm like, what the hell? What are you hiding?
Uh, I guess. I mean, like realistically, you're not supposed to go for people who have red flags.
I mean, yes, but I like to see a little bit of flaw sometimes.
But like that's not a red flag. That's like a yellow flag or like a red flag half mass. Like what's your flaw then? What would you say that your
Oh, my flaw that I'm too insecure, I think.
Mm.
But I don't think I take it out in a negative way or anything on the other person.
Yeah,
I mostly bottle it all up.
that could be the flaw.
And then until it all comes pouring out.
Mine are I don't put the like when you shower and you don't and you have to like pull the thing up if you have like a bathtub shower kind of thing. After you shower, you're supposed to put it down so like when the next person uses like the tub, they don't get sprayed with water. If like you share a bathroom kind of thing. So I don't put the thing down after I shower. So there's
Mm,
been many times where Jordan has been sprayed with water.
he had it coming. He was
Yeah.
about to shower anyways. Why does he care?
Yeah, exactly. And then a second one is that I don't close like sometimes when I'm like baking or cooking, I don't close cupboards all the way. Like I like to leave them open so when I put the things back, I'll just put it back. But then sometimes I just because that's developed into a habit, now I don't close them properly.
Hmm.
And then my third one is that I nag a lot.
Mm, I think you do too.
Leaving the best for last.
I think I think I made my brother a lot. I don't know what it'd be like with boyfriends.
I can't help it.
I also can't help it. It's because boys are dumb. I said what I said. We
I
love
think
equality, but boys are dumb.
I think it's just more of like a I have like a way of doing things and I like to get things
Mm,
done very quickly. And like when people don't necessarily follow the same schedule that I do, like I get very like passive aggressive about it
mm,
in the terms of nagging.
this is true. I mean, I haven't seen it, but I feel like I am similar. I think I think I always look for sometimes I look for a fight, I think. Not look for a fight, but I'm like I ask trap questions where they have no way of answering things, and then I get mad with their answer. But then I'm like, why did I even bother asking that question?
Yeah. I think it's like sometimes you just want to like entice drama.
Yeah, I'm so bored. I need some drama and chaos in my life.
Yeah, we need some juicy stuff for the beef of the weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Um, I mean, I'm glad that you say that the beginning of the relationship is kind of like the worst part because right now I'm like I'm having fun, but I'm also dying a little.
How so?
Oh, like I have like no sleep.
Okay.
And I guess like also the farting thing. Like I'm so bloated all the time. Like I don't know if you can tell my face is so bloated right now.
The gas goes all the way up to your face.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not that I eat bad. No, maybe I do eat bad food. What it is. But I guess because like my mental health is like very strongly correlated with how often I work out and how often I am healthy. So it's been very rare for me.
Hmm.
So my mental health is falling apart.
Yeah, I think it gets better. Like I definitely I know we're supposed to do the before, but I think we're creeping a little bit into like the beginning, the during.
Hmm.
But I think it does get better. I think you just start to not well, like I think one, it's like you just stop, I don't know, being the best version of yourself, but like I don't want to say it like that. Like I think you just get more
Be
comfortable.
sloppier.
I don't know, like how they say you're more like you are more comfortable, I guess, like after a while. Like you stop, like because they
Hmm.
know so much about you, right? Like you just,
Mhm.
well, I mean, that's how it should progress realistically. Like because they know so much about you, they don't have all these like expectations and stuff. Like sometimes you just don't shave for months on end and they don't really care. I mean, they shouldn't care, but like still, like you just get comfortable with it yourself too as well.
I feel like I didn't shave for well, because I was like, eh, whatever, it's too late, we're dating now.
Yeah.
Can't get out.
Yeah, you do. I guess you get like a lot of that security as well because it's like when I was talking about like the flirtation stage, like there's not a lot of security there. But
Hmm.
then like when you first move into the beginning of the relationship, you do feel a lot more secure, I guess, in the relationship. You also have the honeymoon phase and everything like that.
Hmm.
So I guess that is all good as well.
How long does the honeymoon phase last?
As long as you want it to last.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. I think like a lot of people say that like, oh, it's within the first 6 months, but I think it's um like if you keep working at it, I think it's like it'll never go away. And I don't think it should ever go away. Like, yes, you're gonna have like bits and times where you're like, oh, like I'm not feeling this, or like not like I'm not feeling this, but it's just like I don't feel this as like passionate, I guess, as I used
Mm.
to. And then but then you should be able to find your way back because if you I don't know, I think you should be forever in like a like kind of a honeymoon phase. Not like one of those like I'll drop everything and do just this person, but like a nice balance of honeymoon and everything else.
That's beautiful. I like that. I was always under the impression, because again, listeners, I am an amateur with relationships, that I thought honeymoon phase was like 3 months and then you're like an old ball and chain couple.
I mean, I think it's both. Like I think that like 100% because like you see in movies and stuff where you like you read online on Reddit and you're like, oh, like honeymoon phase only should only last like the first 6 months or whatever, and then you have to settle into like normalcy, and it's like, well, no, you shouldn't, because once you start settling, you stop like trying, and then you stop caring, and then that's how the relationship basically goes downhill.
Mm. Yeah, this is fair.
Um, how do you feel about the honeymoon stage?
I mean, it's great. I think it's cool, but I think you're right. I am only showing like the best version of myself. I'm not showing all the sad parts, but I did cry randomly yesterday. So shout out to you, Nick. Thanks for taking it so well. Um, I mean, my entire like outlook towards it has changed. It's kind of like honeymoon period just means like you're really happy, right? That's what it means, right? The safe for work version. You're just happy all the time.
Yeah,
But I feel like
yeah.
yeah.
You're very much in lust with this person, or in love with this person, or in like
Yeah.
with this person.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like that should always be there. That's why you're in a relationship. If it's
Hmm.
not there anymore, I mean, it doesn't always have to be there, but if like you're finding that it's just never there anymore, then it's like relationship's over. Like there's you just like fell out of love, lust, whatever it is.
Yeah. And it's like that's okay too. And we will talk about that in the next episode,
Yeah.
where we'll talk more about the during and then the end.
Yeah. But as of right now, what are the signs at the beginning of a potential relationship?
Hmm.
Like, how did you know you and Jordan were headed towards a relationship?
Everyone else told us. No. Um, like I don't know really. Like it just never really like yes, it kind of crossed my mind, but also it didn't really cross my mind. All I knew at that point was that I really enjoyed talking to him. I really enjoyed hanging out with him. And he would be like the one that I would send a lot of my memes to. Sorry, that sounded so millennial. um, like there were times like so his theory is that if you like someone, you want to like if you're in a group setting, you sit across from them, because like that way you can stare at them and like you can listen to them when they talk, and you can like just like always I guess be very present. My thing is that if you like someone, you should always sit beside them, because
I
then
thought,
yeah, exactly, you have the close proximity, you can accidentally like brush against them and
yeah.
everything, but it's like I guess it does make it hard to communicate.
Mm. But you're in a group setting. Like the easiest person to turn to is the person beside you.
No, I think it's the person in front of you. I don't like a small group, like 5 people.
Actually, to be fair, when we're on our like double dates or something, I feel like I always turn like because I'm always sitting across from you, I'm always talking to you.
Yeah. So next time we'll get him to sit, we'll get them to sit on one side and we'll sit on one side, and then that way the conversation is across.
Nice.
Yeah. I guess that's like when you do turn, you kind of do whisper, like not whisper, but you talk more quietly than if you were like talking like
Mm.
across the group. But maybe that's just like what like more like what you want more. Like do you want the conversation more, or do you want the physical like touch more?
This is fair.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's interesting. We should
Yeah.
tell us what your like how you sit. How do you position yourself in?
That's funny. I'm gonna ask him this tonight too.
Yeah, because like when he told me that, I was like shocked. I was like, well, no, because I do this. And he's like, oh, well, I do this. I'm like, well, that explains it. Like that, because you never wanted to sit beside me. So I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what this means. Like,
That's so funny.
and what was the original question? How did
What are
I
the
know?
signs at the beginning of a potential? Yeah, how did you know you and Jordan were like headed for a relationship?
Yeah. I think it's just like slow. Like I never know if it's headed for a relationship. All I know is like I'm heading towards liking someone. if I like them, then yes, there's a potential relationship there. So it's like, I think it's like when it goes from liking, which is like all the things I talked about before, to going towards like, oh, I can see myself being with only this person in a very long term, which we kind of talked about in like episode 10, where it's like, how do you feel about marriage? How do you feel about children?
That's so funny. Literally on our first in-person date, Nicholas asked me that.
And I think that's hilarious because he shamed me for it basically when
I
I talk.
shamed you for it. I was like, what the hell? That is too soon.
I think he like you both of you were like you just laughed at the comment, and I'm very glad he brought that up because I think it's important.
I think, yeah, I think it was a good question to ask. I mean, I'm glad he didn't ask me about marriage because I have like weird thoughts about marriage. But he asked about kids and I'm like glad because like I want kids and he does too. So if we ever stay long term, cool. Great, we got that out of the way.
Yeah, because it's like what in TV shows and movies and stuff, like people just don't talk about it. It's like
Yeah.
you
But
didn't.
also like opinions change though because
Mhm.
before he used to be like he did not want kids, like he didn't want to do that. But then it changed. I think in the past couple of years he was like, yeah, I want kids. I think it'd be fun.
Fun.
Fun for the guy, not the girl who has to push her out of her vagina.
What about you? What are how did you how did you know? How did you get there? How did you know?
I think it was so I not that I date a lot, but I've gone on a lot of first dates and I'm always really aware of like how I am, like how I feel on first dates because I think like that matters the most. And I feel like in the past when I was on the first dates, I was like, okay, I only want to talk to this person for like a couple hours and then I want to leave because like I'd rather go hang out with my friends or something cool. Like they're not that fun to talk to. But with Nicholas, it was like completely different. It was like we even on our first date, we talked for like 5 or 6 hours or something. Like we didn't go home till like 2 a.m. And this was like our very first date, which is insane. And I was like, wow, I could like talk to this guy forever. Like we have so much in common. Like we don't actually have like that much in common, but I think like our values and everything was like very aligned. That I was like, well, this is great. I'm like, it's very rare to find, not very rare, but in my experience, it was very rare to find. But
Hmm.
I was like, oh wow, this person's like really fun to talk to. And also I have a weird thing with touch, I think. Like for a long time I just like didn't like touching people. But then he would like very casually like touch me and like touch the small of my back or something. Or like if I said something funny, he would like put his arm around my back. And this is like our first date, and I was like, oh my God, this is like he's very comfortable with me. And like I'm very comfortable with like him touching me. And I was like, ah, that's like kind of weird and come off in a creepy way. And I was like, oh. And I remember texting you too right after the first day. I was like, oh my God, I really like this guy. He's so cute. And he's like so funny. And yeah, we talked for so long. It was great. So I think that was good. That was when I was like, well, this has potential here. We could see this going somewhere.
So what kind of made you shift from this has potential to we're gonna start dating?
I wonder what it was. I think it was like the date before we became official when we were talking about red flags about each other. I think, yeah, I think we like openly addressed it. Like any red flags that they had of themselves. Like, did they think they had any red flags? Or did we think we had any red flags of each other? I think that was when I was like, oh, like are we gonna do this? Are we gonna get into a relationship right now? But I was in my head, I was like, I have no expectation of this. This is my very first relationship. Honestly, in my head, I just wanted, even if it was like a short-term relationship, I just wanted like to be with a nice guy, like date a little bit because I'm like in my mid-20s. Like, let's see how this goes. I've never been in a real relationship before. Or even if it was like a casual relationship, whatever. Like, you know what? It was like my 20s. It was a pandemic. Oh yeah, it was a pandemic when we started dating. Sorry, everyone. Sorry, mom. Um, but like, like I feel like I wanted to have like that 20s moment because I feel like I play it pretty safe and responsible for most of my life. Um, and then he was like, no, like I want like a long-term relationship. Like, yeah, we were on the same page, so it was cool.
Do you think you should go into a relationship expecting a long-term relationship, or do you think you should go in expecting it to be casual, or do you think you should go into it with a different mentality?
So I went to it expecting short term. I was like, okay. Oh, yeah. In the first month we were dating together, I was like, every single day, I was like, "Oh, today's gonna be our last day together. He's gonna, like, see right through me. Like, we're over." I don't think I'm like I think he's, like, way better looking than me. I think he's, like, too good for me. I thought we were gonna, like, be done in a month. Um, but then I think I asked him, and he was like, "No, I see us long term." I thought that was pretty sweet. But maybe my bar is low. But I feel like you should not go in thinking it's going to be short term because that was a very chaotic first month for me. I think you should go into it like go all in, I think is my advice. Because like yes, it could be embarrassing. Yes, it's vulnerable and you feel weak. But also it's like you don't want to look back and be like, "Oh, I regret this. I could have done this differently. I should have expressed like more affection or something like that." I think you should go all in, see if it works. And if it doesn't, then lessons learned and they weren't the right person for you.
Oh, that was really good. I like that.
Nice. Way to go, Maggie.
Yeah, like all in, not like financially. Like don't
No,
move across
please.
the world for someone.
Save your money, spend his.
She's joking.
I'm joking. Also, Nick, why didn't you book the Fairmont Hotel for us?
At
Yeah,
Nick,
at
explain
Nick.
yourself. The best part about this is now like because Jordan used to always get mad that I always tell one part of the story and it's my side of the story, right? So he never really gets to dispute it. He just gets to listen to it afterwards and be like, "Oh my God, that's not what happened," even though that's what happened. But now you get to talk about Nicholas, and then it's basically the same thing.
So you're gonna take my side, right? I take your
Yeah,
side all the time.
yeah. I mean, when have I not taken your side yet?
Yeah, exactly. I've never not taken your side, except for when you kind of mansplained Jordan's commute to him. That was the only time. Do you feel like you regret anything in like the beginning of the relationship? Like, would you have done anything differently?
I wish Jordan didn't move to Vancouver.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was wild.
That was wild. I honestly did like I am shocked that I was able to do long distance.
Me too, because I'm thinking about it now, and I'm like, I don't know if me and Nicholas would survive if we did long distance. But
Yeah.
like, go you guys. So you wish that Jordan didn't go to Vancouver.
Like yes and no. Like I think it's like I say that now because like obviously like that would have been better, but it's like I wouldn't have stopped him anyways, even if like we had gotten together earlier just because it's like it's what he wanted to do, even though it was very spontaneous. But it wasn't that long. I think it was like 8 months, which still kind of long time. And then it kind of sucks as well now because it's like, oh, we both live at home.
Yeah, that is a tricky part.
Yeah. I think it's harder to go from like living like on your own and then living back at home.
I think it's tricky for any beginning of a relationship as an adult to be living at home.
Yeah.
Because now I feel like a teenager all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like a better version of a teenager because like I don't have a curfew, but yeah, my mom's like pretty cool about it. Like she doesn't ask where I am when I don't come home. But also I feel like she judges me a little bit. And also I feel like I'm bothering his mom when I'm over all the time.
Yeah. It sucks because it's like yes, you don't have to like sneak around and stuff, but at the same time it's like ooh.
You're right. It's like
Yeah.
you have people supervising your relationship.
Yeah. It's like if you have your mom drop you off at the movies and then sit a few rows back and then watch you.
Ugh.
Um
Have there ever been like red flags in the beginning of a relationship that you just like ignored until it finally came up afterwards? Not like your current one, but like in the past.
um Yeah, I think it was kinda. I think there was one where it was like I wasn't really sure yet. Like I was just still kind of like in the oh, like we'll see where this goes phase. Like I didn't really like we hadn't even known each other for very long, for maybe like a day or two, but then like he like immediately asked me out and I was like, "Oh no." So I was just like, "Okay, I guess." Like I was like, "Okay, you know what? Like we'll just see where this goes." Flash forward though, even like a month and a half later, I'm like, oh, I need to get out of this relationship because I'm like, I didn't really want to be in this relationship in the first place. So I basically like texted him being like, hey, like, like we didn't really talk about like getting into a relationship at all. Like I was never really like I was never really there, I guess, when you were there kind of thing. And then I had to break up with him on campus and then he started crying on campus and I was like, and like afterwards we were still pretty good friends though. Like that was the thing. That was like that is how I think the path should have went. I think we would have just stayed as friends, but because he like jumped the gun for some reason, we ended up having like this weird relationship for a bit, and then becoming like ultimately being friends in the end. Because like I think he's really cool and everything, and he's like great to talk to, but it was just never like relationship type of material for like us. Like we were just not compatible.
Sure.
Yeah. I think like other ones, I think like nothing really in the beginning, but more so like just like changed throughout like the relationship, such that like they became someone that I didn't really know anymore. Like they became so different from what they used to be that it's just like I never would have knew that like known that from the beginning. And it's like that sucks because it's like, oh, you've already invested this much time and now they're a completely different person. But I guess you change as well. So it's like,
Hmm.
I don't know, is it did I change too much or did they change too much or did we just both change in different directions kind of thing? And then that like ultimately ended that as well.
I mean, I think it's good to change. Like you're both like developing human beings, but it's like, do you want to be accepting of each other's changes?
Mm-hmm. Especially because like you're so young, right? Like we're still
Mhm.
only in our 20s. So it's like, it's pretty natural for us to like adopt and change and like move forward
Mhm.
and so on. It's like, yeah, I think some you change alongside each other and like you or like you adopt to like this like I mean like not change like drastically for the worse. Like if they go like a complete
Mhm.
complete 180, I don't think that like you need to support them on that. But if
Yeah.
it's like minor changes for the better, I think that's something you should be supporting each other on.
Mhm. Oh.
What about you?
I mean, I always see like red flags like right away, like on the first date. Like I think that's like one of my specialties, if we will. I always see flaws in people.
Your brother
Uh,
also said that.
yeah, but he sticks around for the flaws. I don't.
Hey guys, it's your boy Maggie. I'm here just to correct something. I, in fact, did spot the red flags early and, in fact, did stick around and went through a similar thing Wanda did. I had unlocked a repressed memory. We will talk about this another time. Okay, bye!
Like the people that always say that I can spot red flags immediately are also the people who end up in really shitty
Yeah.
relationships.
I feel like I do kind of rush into I think I rush into my relationship a little bit because the flirtatious part I think like stressed me out so much. And I was always like, when are they going to ask me to be in a relationship? Like, do they even like me? What are we doing? Are we just friends? Because he took so long to even set up a date. But I had to do it. So I was like, okay, like what's happening here? So I feel like I kind of like rushed into a relationship, maybe a little bit quicker. Like I wouldn't have minded. I mean, I wouldn't have minded like still dating for a little bit longer than that stressful stage, I guess, just to make sure we really knew each other. But then I also am okay with like how we did things because like it got to where we are now, and I think like where we are now is a good spot. So it's like, yeah. But I wonder why people want to rush into relationships so bad because I was so happy being single,
As the person who wanted to rush into a relationship.
right? It makes no sense to me. I nothing pleases me.
Um, I don't know if you remember this person, but I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, and like this was when you went on a walk and you got blisters because you wore the wrong shoes. Um,
Yes.
and you or like I think you were like, oh, like I think I might kind of like him and whatever, but then afterwards you were like kind of thinking about it and you're like, oh, no, I didn't. We didn't have anything in common.
Yes. I remember. He was Oh my God, this is one of those things where I was like, I saw red flags and I ignored them.
Yeah,
But like he ghosted me actually.
for
But
the
I don't know if
better.
it was really ghost because he tried to go he didn't try. He just like didn't reply to my texts. And then I was like, oh, he ghosted me. And then I texted back and then he was like, oh hey, it's like really nice to hear from you. I'm so glad you texted. I was going through some stuff. And then the second time around, he didn't reply to my text again. So then I just left it. And then he never texted me back. So I was like, okay, whatever, we're done. I'm
I
not gonna
mean,
text.
this was good.
This was good. Yeah, there
Yeah,
were a lot of like problems with him.
yeah, but you
And
ignored them.
like, yeah, and if like he had continued if we had continued seeing each other, like I might have dated him. And
Yeah.
that would have been very bad for our first relationship.
And I just remembered what I was going to ask you. Do you think opposites attract, or do you think birds of a feather flock together? That's a new phrase I learned this week.
I think honestly, birds of a feather flock together. I think the whole opposites attract thing is just rom-com propaganda. Because I feel like you want to be on the same page about a lot of stuff. Like, okay, think of that episode of How I Met Your Mother, Ted and Zoe. They were always arguing with each other, like never on the same sides. See how stressed out he was? Like, if you're on the same page about a lot of stuff, then it's like, it's great. Like, it's like dating your best friend. Do you not want that? And I mean, okay, no. You don't want to be exactly identical, but I feel like you want to be alike on a lot of stuff, but also have different things, you know? Like you're not going to be the exact same person.
Yeah, I think it's like um there's smaller things where you don't have to be similar on though. Like if you don't listen to the same music or uh like the same video games. Like there's very like it depends on what you value and what you think is
Mhm.
important. So it's like I could say something like that, but then maybe if music is something that's really important to you and you like the other person doesn't like music, obviously you are opposites in that sense. But then there are like it depends on like what you don't excuse me what you don't care about are the things that you don't necessarily have to be aligned in because like as Maggie said, you don't have to be the same person. You just have to be similar enough in the things that you actually value, which is usually like political stuff, just like general opinions on things. I don't know, for me it's food, like
Mm.
and like sometimes like just being able to share in each other's hobbies. Like it doesn't have to be that like for example, I would never watch a scary movie. Never, ever, ever. And if the other person was like really into scary movies, like we would never work out just because like I am so frightened by them. I would not put myself through that for anybody.
Um, I think another thing too that really helps me to see if like the relationship is going to be good, or maybe it's a placebo thing, but I make them take a lot of personality tests. I made him take the 16 personality test. I made him take um the love language test. I made him take a Harry Potter sorting house test. Like I gotta make sure I got a good one. Because if we're doing long term, like I gotta see if you're compatible. And I don't have the time to wait around for 5 months before you do something weird. Let's test this out now. But also, I guess you can just say the right things on paper. But anyways, he did a lot of tests. He thought it was nice, I guess. But I think it was good that I made him do like all those quizzes because I think it gave me a better idea of who he was as a person. And same with the love language thing too. I feel like love languages are very important and very not talked about a lot in relationships.
I think it's actually starting to come up a lot more. We were sitting at a restaurant on a patio in the middle of nowhere at Trent's cottage, and this couple beside us, she was like, "Have you ever heard of love languages?" to the guy that was sitting with her. And then he was like, "No." And then she went on this whole 20-minute spiel about what love languages are, and then proceeded to make him take a test while they were eating out. And I thought that was hilarious.
Me, I would do that. And
Also,
like the advice she gave me was kind of bad.
what was it?
Oh, it was things like I was always like, oh, like who should say stuff first? Like saying things like I love you or something like that. Like who says that stuff first? And she was like, girls should always wait for the guys to say it first. I don't agree with that. What do you think?
So, I'm not going to include names, but there's a couple I know where the girl was waiting for the guy to say it first because if she said it first, it invalidated it, like the love, basically. So her friend told her to wait until the guy just like size it first. And then she wanted to say it, but she didn't want to say it first. So she continuously hinted at trying to get him to say it, him knowing that what she was doing, then refused to say it because he wanted to fuck with her. And then
Awful.
she ended up saying it first, obviously, because she got fed up with that. But like, there is no rule, there is no invalidation, I guess, to like who should say it first. Like, girls can ask out guys, girls can say it like I love you first, girls can do anything. Like, you're not like I don't like I when I was younger, I used to believe these things too, where it's like um there's like, oh, you have to wait for the guy to do everything. But it's like I am a boss ass woman. I can do these things
Hmm.
first myself. It doesn't mean any less if I say it first in comparison to them. So I completely 100% agree with you and not with the advice that your friend gave you.
Yeah, it was not great advice. And now I'm like, I see why your relationship didn't last. But I'm like, I wonder where that came from because she was with him for 2 years and I've only been in mine for like 3 months. So maybe it's just like different messages growing up, or maybe just like different security levels.
Mm-hmm. I think both. I think it's like the messaging is in all rom-coms is like you wait for him to say it first. And I
Hmm.
think it's a thing that gets perpetuated throughout like female friend groups too. Like people, you look to other people who've been in relationships and they'll be like, oh, well, he said it first. And then they're like, okay, so I'm gonna wait for like
Hmm.
my boyfriend to say it first then.
But yeah, I think it's also one of those things where it's like you want the stereotype is like the guy is always like the dominant one in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But when I think about it, I'm like, I don't think I want the guy to be the dominant one. I think I want us to be equal because I think I would get like resentful towards him if he was the dominant one and I wouldn't be able to take it.
Yeah, like making the first move, like kind of thing. Like you always
Mhm.
want them to do it, but then you want them to do it in the
But
sense
then
of
like
like,
they're too slow
yeah,
and like they don't do it the way I want. So then I have to do it.
yeah, take charge.
Yeah.
It
But also,
is.
it's like back to our whole dark side of feminism thing, you know? It's like I want them to take the charge, but I want to take the charge and it's like,
I want them to read my mind and
yeah,
do exactly what I'm thinking.
exactly. But I don't know what's in my mind. I don't know what I want.
I think this is the trippiest thing ever. And like this is not supposed to be like a brag in any way, but there are times where if I'm thinking a thought loud enough in my head, Jordan will somehow say that thought. And it's insane. And it's happened like multiple times where I'm like, holy crap, like, how did you know? Like, I was literally just thinking about this. And then, like, it's only happened once the opposite way around where I was like, I said something that he was thinking about, but he's done it a few times now where it's like, if I really think something, he'll say it.
That's kind of cute. But also me and you do that.
Yeah.
And we're not even like in the same room, we're texting.
But mostly mines are like things I want him to do. So it's like if I want like a cup of
Oh.
tea or something, I'd be like thinking like, oh, like I should get myself a cup of tea. And then he would literally just get up at that moment and be like, hey, do you want me to make you a cup of tea?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so
I basically have twin telepathy.
with him and me.
Yeah. You're for us, it's more like conversations or things to do.
Yes. I mean, I feel like there are really important conversations to have with the other person before you even get into the
Hmm.
relationship. Um, like, I don't know, what's an important question to have with them?
Do you want kids?
That is important. Oh, my question to them was, are you sure you're over your exes?
Mm.
If they came calling, would you come back to them? Like, are you really over them? Like,
Yeah,
think long enough. That
but what if they like
they
haven't
lie.
no, but like what if they haven't like seen them in like 4 years?
Okay, then that's a different scenario. Then that's not even like a conversation. Unless then like 4 years and it's like you dodged a bullet. This guy's not over this girl from 4 years ago.
Yeah, fair. What if they lie?
Yeah, that's also concerning. And then I always think about that too in the back of my head.
What else is there? Oh, I guess it's more of like a not really something to ask, but I guess just kind of like seeing what they do with their free time. Like, are they always going out with the boys or like the girls, or like are they always drinking, partying? Are they a
Oh,
workaholic? Like just
yeah.
things that
Actually,
you can't you know that you're not going to be able to tolerate like when you're in a relationships because you can't even tolerate that now.
that's actually yeah, really good point. And I think we talked about that too. Because I don't think I could be with someone who was like an alcoholic or
Hmm.
like partied all the time, was really into drugs. That's just like not me.
Yeah. And like I know people who are like people who like do enjoy going clubbing together, who do enjoy like I don't know, recreational drugs, going to raves, all those things. It's like if it's something you like to do together, then completely fine. I'd also not want to be with someone who spends all their time with their friends. Like if you need a boys' night like 3, 4 times a week, I'm like,
Am I not enough?
it's a lot of boys' nights.
But also, like, I feel like I spend a lot of time with my friends.
Yeah, but like, is it more than you spend with like, are you
Oh, and him.
ditching
No.
plans with Nicholas to spend time with your friends?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's the scenario we combine.
Yeah. So it's like, I think it's mostly just like putting their friends' needs over yours as
Yeah.
like the significant other, I think is something just like, just selfishness, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm ever gonna be in a place where I put my boyfriend over my friends, but also I don't want to be in a place where I put my friends over my boyfriend.
Yeah.
So equality.
Yeah. That's what they mean by equality.
But also, there's like a quote from the Mindy Project where she was like, "Oh my God, you know that I'd love it. I can't wait for the day I ditch my friends for a boy."
Yeah. I think it's also like how they treat you. Like it's a lot of things to watch out for, I guess. Like do they put you down? Do they say passive aggressive comments to you? Do they pump you up?
I do like something we talked about from the rom-com thing. Like I asked them a lot of hypothetical questions.
Hmm.
Like, would you tell me if this happened? Like, what would you do in this scenario? I asked that a lot.
I do that too, and I think it's a girl trope. Like it's one of those like, like he's like turned around, they're like in bed, and then like it's her like half turned. She'd be like, "So what do you think of like what would you do if I died?"
That's so funny. Oh, wait, I have asked that question before.
I have too. Mine was if I died, how long would you wait?
That's a great question. I'm gonna ask that today.
Oh my God. Okay.
Oh, and what we talked about too. So I like to approach things with like a business thing where
Hmm.
it's like, like performance review,
Yeah.
check in once a month kind of thing. And we tend to do this at the time of our like month anniversary kind of thing. It's like, oh hey, it's like our 2 month, 3 month, whatever. Just checking in. How is everything? Like what's good, what could be better? Any words of improvement for me to take away for before next month or next quarter or whatever. Um and I think that's really good to do check-ins. And I told him that at the very beginning that that's what I want because like I'm new to this. Like he's been in like some bad relationships. Like I think it's always good to check in and have that open communication thing. Um, and I think we talked about like what makes like a good boyfriend or a good girlfriend too. And for him, it's just like just be honest. Also, don't cheat on me.
The
And like
bare minimum.
yeah, I like define that exactly what is cheating. Um,
Hmm.
I yeah. Oh, and asking, have you ever cheated in a relationship? I mean, maybe like cheaters aren't always going to be cheaters, but it's like it's one of those things where I'm like, you cheated before. How do I know you're not going to do it again?
Yeah, I think like before asking any question, I think you have to prepare yourself for also the worst possible answer that
Right.
and it's like, do you actually want to hear this?
Yeah. What do you think? Did we miss anything else?
You know what? We'll just roll it up in the during part of
Nice.
next episode.
Nice. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Okay, what's our question of the week?
Um, what would you do before a relationship? Which phase do you find the most stressful? Before the relationship, during the relationship, the flirtatious part of it, or after? I guess the breakup is pretty stressful for a lot of people, so
Oh,
I'll take that one out.
yeah, we're gonna, I guess next week we'll do breakup tips.
Yeah, during and after. I have no breakup tips. Only the tips where it's like the breakup where it's like you're not even official, but you
Ooh,
still feel it's a breakup.
still, let's stay tuned. Stay
Yeah.
tuned for
Part two.
part two of where it will be during and after.
Nice. Where we break up with our boyfriends live on the podcast.
And then you rate us about how you think we did on our breakups and who did it better.
Yeah. It's not you, it's us.
Ooh, that should be the title of next episode.
That's a great title.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for tuning in again for this week's episode. Like us and follow us wherever you get your podcast and on YouTube. Go follow us on social media, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. So Maggie will step up her game again. And tune in again next Thursday for another episode and part 2 of this episode of Apologetically Me. Bye.
Bye.